This is a character,
yes,
isn't it? So who are you
thank
playing?
Goodness. I am portraying a piece of the authority, so I do represent the ownership both in real life, but then as a character on television. So my character abuses her authority and power pretty much at every turn to get what she wants.
And I mean, that's going to hurt. Do you get hurt?
The slaps, well, you know, they don't tickle, but, you know, slaps will never do any real damage.
No.
And you say that the reason it is so big is that it's never dull because it is actually choreographed.
Well, it is, and you know, it's our mission to put smiles on people's faces.
It's really physical, and you are very
physical,
trained.
Absolutely, and we have no off seasons and no reruns. You know, we're live every single week, 52 weeks a year, and it's like athletic theater, if you will.
Yeah. When you're the fourth generation, as we said there in your intro, of wrestling promoter, was there any doubt in your mind that you were going to go into the family business?
Actually, no, it's what I've always wanted to do. I've always been a fan of wrestling and WWE in particular, and especially growing up watching my father, who was the chairman, CEO, and also a commentator on the show. And I was just enthralled, you know, business conversation at the dinner table and listening to the stories that were getting built and the characters and meeting them and seeing them. Actually, my first WWE live event, I was about 3 years old, and I went walking backstage, and I'll never forget it. All of a sudden, these kids came running at me, screaming, terrified. And I couldn't imagine what was happening. My parents were down the hallway, and then here comes George the Animal Steel, who had basically so much hair on his back it was like fur, and his tongue was green, and he was in character, lumbering towards me. And I then screamed at the top of my lungs and virtually ran up my father's leg and buried my head in his neck.
Oh, God.
But I noticed he was laughing. My father, the great defender. And then he introduced me to George the Animal Steel, who is also known as Jim Myers, a school teacher. And that was my first inkling into the world of WWE.
And this is a massive and extremely successful family business.
It is, and it is. It's family-friendly. People watch in generations, and it's grandparents and grandchildren and parents and their children. And in fact, in the States, more families watch WWE together than any major sports franchise.
Is that right?
Yeah, the only exception being the NFL.
And something that you've been key to, really, is bringing more women into the sport.
Yes.
I mean, there has always been women wrestlers.
There has always been women wrestlers.
Now you've brought in...
Yes, and there's actually something that we call the women's evolution. And really, all of the credit goes to every woman who has ever stepped foot into a WWE or a wrestling ring. But I like to give the credit to our audience, because our audience started a hashtag called Give Divas a Chance. And at that time, our female division was branded as the Divas Division. And it trended worldwide for 3 days.
Really?
And our fans' voices were so loud, they were saying they wanted more athleticism, deeper character development, enhanced storylines. They wanted more of our women. And their voice was so strong that our chairman and CEO responded, "We hear you, keep watching, give Divas a chance." And since then, we've rebranded the Divas division to the women's division, and all of our women are called superstars, just like the men.
Because you think with a massive company like that, so 12 billion views online, that you could...
On YouTube alone.
On YouTube alone,
yep.
Yeah. And that you could, you know, you could sit back and think, this is so successful, we don't need to worry too much about this, but you really do listen to the fans.
Yes, actually, I think that's our secret sauce. When you think about Monday Night Raw, you know, which you can watch on Sky or at the O2 tonight at 7 p.m.
That's right, you could get that, so we should say that right now, actually, because Sky Sports 5 tonight at 1 a.m. will be showing what's happening down at the O2
normally
tonight.
It is live, right?
Yeah.
But here in the UK, where we can't perform to a full house at 1 a.m., so it's going to be 7 p.m. But imagine all of those fans and all of those families in the arena, and then imagine an empty arena, right? Our show would be pretty boring. It would lack the energy, it would lack the excitement. Our fans are our secret sauce, and that's one of the reasons why I think we're so successful on social media.
Our social media, you mentioned that, because our social media today... Tim, have you got the iPad there? Loads of people contacting us saying that that they see you as a role model, that they sit down as a family, and that they watch, as you were mentioning.
Gail says, Steph is such a wonderful role model. Kirsty says, Stephanie and her superstars are amazing. They gave my son and our family an amazing weekend with Make-the-Wish at at WrestleMania, and it's one we'll never forget. Thank you so much. Tanya said, my family bought tickets to see WWE live on Wednesday, and we can't wait. It brings us together. That's what you said, and we appreciate Steph for all the hard work she does. My 12-year-old daughter looks up to you as a true inspiration. So
wow.
thank you very much.
What do you say?
Them.
There will be other people who say, oh, it's just violent, it's promoting violence. What do you say to them?
Well, it's not. I mean, it's all scripted, as you said, and it's entertainment. You know, and it's protagonist versus antagonist, no different than a great book, no different than Shakespeare, no different than Swan Lake. You know, there's some type of conflict resolution. The only difference is that our conflicts are settled in the ring with some of the greatest live action akin to the best of Hollywood sports.
And you've got 3 daughters.
Hollywood stunts.
Yeah, you have your 3 daughters.
Yes.
And will you encourage them? Look at them, they're gorgeous. Would you encourage them to get into the ring?
Are they
Well,
showing
you
any-
can't see their faces. That's intentional.
Yeah.
They are 10, 8, and 6, and I will encourage them to follow their dreams and to live their passion. They just need to learn how to work hard to do it.
Yeah. Do they watch and do they like it?
They do.
They
My
must do.
oldest and my youngest, in particular, my oldest would love to be the women's champion, and my youngest wants to marry John Cena. So she needs to hurry up because Nikki Bella they are now engaged. As
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.